What's going on, everybody? We are live. Today we are talking about scaling our wholesale businesses. Let me get my mic plugged in here. Let's see. I have Mike and Don backstage. Mike, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to jump on. Give me a thumbs up when you're all ready to jump on.
Hi.
Hey, Myron.
How are you? How are you all?
Good.
Good. We're really good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. You should, I don't know. I think you should be able to stream to your own YouTube or something if you want.
Don, why don't you take care of that for us?
Oh, good.
It's not a big deal. You don't have to. I'm just saying you can. Anyways, I might have somebody from our team jump on. I don't know. Let me message them real quick. All right. Anyway, okay. So yeah, what we wanted to do is walk through our respective businesses, what we got going on, how can we improve, how can we benefit from each other, really look up to what Mike and Don are doing, and because they've managed a lot of people at once, and as far as wholesaling, I haven't really. I've kept it really small and tight, close to the chest type of thing, but we're getting to that next level where we're going to be managing more people. And so I'm like, let's just jump on a live together, and because I think it might benefit some people to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people they get it on a basic level, but never really seem to talk about what it is that we're actually doing, like, and how to execute that. So I think it would be really good to kind of dive into that a little bit more.
And honestly, we're just trying to be like you, Myron.
Yeah.
We admire what you're doing, so we want to be like Myron.
Thank you for saying that. That feeling, it goes both ways. Maybe before we get started, introduce yourselves. Don, tell us about you, and then Mike.
Yeah. So I've been in real estate for, over a year and a half now. Previously to real estate, I was in fitness. So that's what I got my degree in kinesiology. I went to the University of Texas. So hook 'em. But now that I'm in real estate, I'm wholesaling, right? That's our main business model right now, but we're doing direct to agent. And it took a while for me to get my first deal. I really struggled through that for about a year. I thought I was doing everything that I should be doing. I thought that I was being consistent, and it became very apparent that I was not. And I kind of went back into my comforts of knowing, hey, well, I'm not really getting anywhere with real estate. Let me just start making connections. And so that's kind of what I did. And I'm actually glad that happened, because it led to relationships with you and Carolyn and so many other people that are lasting really long, and they're lifelong friends now. And I'm excited about that. So I don't think I would change anything, because I learned a lot in that year of trying to just grind and get to my first deal.
Yeah.
But after that, we've now kind of jumped and skyrocketed a little bit faster probably than we were expecting. But in that process, I met my partner, Mike Jackson, and he's had a lot more real estate experience than me, and just kind of grabbed me and said, okay, we're going this way now. So super grateful for him.
I've had a lot more life experience than you, Don, just because I'm twice your age, it feels like.
Stop.
But yeah, hi guys, I'm Mike Jackson. I've been in real estate for quite a while in various capacities. I've told the story a few times in the past few days. But basically, I graduated from UCLA in 2005. I immediately started to work for a company called Marcus and Millichap, which I'm sure Myron knows about. And I was selling apartment buildings in Southern California. And I didn't love it. It was cold calling sellers all day long wasn't really a fit for me. And so I did that for a couple years. I love the analysis side of multifamily. I love the business of multifamily. I think it's so cool. But I went from there into a private equity firm and then to an investment firm. And then eventually I just started to kind of do this on my own. And before I met Dawn and before I joined Sub2, which was 3.5 years ago, I was doing direct to agent cash wholesale transactions, which I loved. Such a really great avenue for deals. And when I joined Sub2, it took me 2 years, I think, to get my first creative deal. And I was struggling. I was trying to find what my avenue was. It's tough to really focus. And I think especially for those of us who are in Sub2, there's so many distractions potentially, right? And it took me 2 years to get my first deal. And then pretty quickly after that, Dawn and I started to teach or lead Elephant Challenge supplemental Zooms. And so we've been helping people since then get their first deal or their next deal. And I love training people. I love working with people who are action takers. And it's the best seeing people go from 0 deals and really no idea how to do this business to multiple deals on a monthly basis. So that's what I love about this business.
Yeah. Because it's like we're changing our own lives, but we're changing other people's lives. And I've said this a lot as well. Like that is like the greatest joy when you see someone else win and their life starts to take a different turn and go a different direction than it would have. Oh, I get tingles talking about that stuff.
That's a great point, Myron. I think what's really cool and what just struck me is that I think a lot of us initially start to focus on ourselves in this business, right? What's in it for me, right? And you think, oh, I'm going to make $100,000 a month. This is my goal, right? That's kind of what I want to do. And it's great, right? You keep pushing for that goal. But once you start helping other people is really when your own business just shoots off, right? Who knows if it's just the laws of the universe or whatever, but it feels like the more you help people, the better you do individually in your business. And so you benefit and they benefit as well.
Yep. So, of course we didn't pregame at all. So I want to let's do introductions. Let's tell people who we are and then kind of get into it. So the purpose, like I said earlier, was for us to jump on a Zoom or a YouTube live together and kind of go through what we got going on. So right now, I wish I had a whiteboard, but I'm going to kind of like talk about how our business is structured. So we started with Elephant Challenge, but we did not follow through. I have enough to do over here that if I brought on like 50 other people, I couldn't handle it. Right. And so I focused on just building Thrive Mode, right? Thrive Mode is our wholesale business. And so in doing that, I started developing little tools because I found my bottlenecks, right? And one of my biggest bottlenecks was like how many offers we need to send. We're getting a lot of leads. I needed to send more offers. And so we started building out the team basically as the bottlenecks appeared or came to fruition. I'm like, okay, I need actually a full-time person just to send offers out. That's what I need. And then I'm like, okay, I need another acquisition person. So it started out with actually me, Carolyn, and then one of our first buddies, her name is Sonia. She's a private money lender. She's in Sub2 as well. So Sonia, and then I think Alex Penaloza was on our team, but we had just a couple, like a very small team, 4 or 5. And then one day, this guy from Georgia calls me, sounds just like Luke Bryan. If you don't know who that is, sounds just like Luke Bryan. And he goes, hey, Myron. I'm not going to do it. He's like, hey, I found this deal in San Angelo. The agent said that you had made an offer on it. Did you make an offer on this deal? I'm like, yes, I did. We had been working this deal in San Angelo for like 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up getting it under contract. And he goes, I'll JV with you. I'm like, yes, let's do it. And we end up selling it to Pace. So his first deal, well, there was something else that happened before that, but his first deal happened very quickly and we sold it to Pace.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and he's not a sub 2 student. And I took him under my wing and I said, hey, no, say it like this, change it up, go like that. Don't give them everything they want. The agent doesn't, like, we're the buyers. We make the decisions, right? And so making that mindset shifts for him. And now he's one of the leaders on our team. And then Sonia met Jade, and I go, Jade or Sonia, get Jade on your team and have someone under you to be bringing you leads and you help close them, right? Well, Sonia ended up joining Jake Villaret's team. So Sonia went off to Jake Villaret and Jade started closing deals. So now Jade and Alan are what do you call them? Lieutenants? I don't know what people call them. They're closers, and they have a team under them. And then once our closer gets the deal closed, I'll look at it. I'll like verify the underwriting, make sure it's a good deal that we can sell or buy, and then I'll draw up the contract. And once we get it signed, I'll dispo it. I'll send it to our TC, and then I'll dispo it. So it's like, how do you do this? A closer with some people under them, and then me as dispo. And then I go, okay, I got too many to dispo. We had like 15 under contract, 16 under contract at once. And I go, I need a dispo person.
Yep.
And so to get that person, I sent a deal to a few people, one deal a piece, not the same deal, different deals. And I said, go work that deal. And we had one guy, Jeremy, stick around. So everybody else got a deal. They kind of worked it. They dropped off.
Right.
Very easy to get someone to drop off. Right.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy sticks in and it's like, give me more. So he just called me. He's like, Myron, I think if we can get the same volume in December, I can quit my job. I'm like,
whoa,
that's dope.
Amazing.
That's dope.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, there's Jade right there. Hey, Jade.
Hi, Jade.
We'd love to have you on. I gave you the link. We'd love to have you on if you want to. But anyways, I mean, that's the nutshell. So we're doing around, last month we closed 8. The month before we closed 8. The month before we closed like 2 or 4 or something like that. And then the month before we closed 6. I can't remember after that or, further back than that, but it's somewhere we're getting around 8 range.
Yeah.
I don't know what December is going to bring us, who knows, but tell us what that oof is about.
It's just a little, it's slower to an extent, right? I mean, everyone's preparing for holidays. So ones that you're working on right now, you have to kind of time right for closings. And so it's like, man, do we want this to close this month or is it going to close next month? So it's just like a little bit of, I don't know, scheduling kind of thing on your deals closing. But yeah, I mean, we started in the Elephant Challenge with you guys, right? We were doing those Zooms, right? We had our little pack, our little group. And then quickly we realized, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of questions. I think the only one that really had time because I didn't have anything else going on. Everybody else had so much going on in their business. And I was like, I have no experience to be teaching these people, but we're going to go for it. And so we kept doing the Zooms. And then Mike and I just decided at the end of last year, why don't we just keep going together, right? I have some experience and you have time and you're really good at moderating Zooms. Why don't we just keep doing that? I was like, okay. So we jumped into that. And what we started doing was just having people bring us leads, right?
Yeah.
No one had really given out lists. And so we're like, why don't we just give them a list to work on? Why don't we just try that and see what we get as far as activity goes? And from that, we started getting a lot of traction. Now, those leads weren't always great leads, but they were learning. They were still trying to figure out how to do things.
Yep.
And so we just maintain that kind of track. And then somewhere around April, we figured out where the issue was with them making calls and their consistency and the list itself, right? And so we made those adjustments, and then in a month or so, we started getting leads that were actually building traction. And come the end of July, we when we were at community camp, matter of fact, it was right before I left, we started getting yeses back from all of these agents. And we're like, whoa, okay, we got one, then we got two, then we got four, then I think we got up to six by the time I was in community camp. And I was like, Mike, what are you doing? And then I come back from community camp and he has to go travel. I'm like, okay, so where are we at? And from there it just kept going. And I
Awesome.
think it was really amazing to watch. Mike, do you want to add anything to that?
I mean, just kind of like the cherry on top is, I think the following Friday, I think we had something like 6 contracts come in. It was like one of those days where, like every hour on the hour, an agent calling, hey, we accept your offer kind of thing, which was great. But as you know, Myron, issues come around anytime you have activity, right? Which is a good thing. As Pace says, if you don't have problems, you don't have a business, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we have lots of problems, so that's a good thing, I think. But yeah, I mean, to Don's point, I think what we were fully supportive of Pace's Elephant Challenge, right? Whatever Pace was teaching at the time, we were teaching as well.
Mhm.
Whether we were familiar with it or experienced with it or not, that's what we were doing. And then at some point during the Elephant Challenge, it just kind of came to the point where it was kind of like a generic education, right? A wholesaling education. This is kind of how you take a deal from under contract to dispo.
Mhm.
And we figured out that if we can very highly target the leads, kind of like both of our businesses do, then we can give that to people to generate interest and leads and just start a conversation. We love that side of it, and it of course presents its own challenges, but it's so much fun to see people who come in. And we've had people very, very interesting. We have people from taxi drivers making phone calls between rides to MIT students making phone calls while they study for their, who knows what they're studying, right? They could try to explain
robots and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, changing the world.
We have someone in South Africa. I mean, it's crazy the reach and the spread that the Elephant Challenge had. It was really awesome.
That guy just texted me, by the way.
Yeah, he called me.
Yeah. So South Africa, Argentina, and we have people all over the world. Italy. It's crazy that people are actually doing deals from Italy in Oklahoma City. Like it's the craziest thing.
I was like, why did you pick Oklahoma City?
Because it was the most similar to Rome, I think, is what he was probably thinking.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
For us when we're teaching, it was really awesome to watch when someone would make their very first phone call. Like that very first nervous, like, I have no idea what to say. I don't want to make this phone call just yet. What am I supposed to do? Like, look, just make the phone call. And it would be somewhat painful to watch because you just want to help them, but they need to go through that step just to get past the hump, right? But then right after that call, we wouldn't even really go over it just yet. We wanted them to jump into another call. We'd give them some feedback and then say, hey, go do this now. Let's try this. And it was like night and day. Like a full 180 watching their confidence just go up, even from that first call to the next one. So for me, that was probably the coolest part about the Elephant Challenge, was getting to see the improvements daily, right, from them. And then
We had
obviously you're doing deals.
Sorry to interrupt you, Don. We had a guy who came and I think he lost his job. I think he was based out of, I think it was Texas. He
Mhm.
lost his job the week before, and he came into our Dumbo dial, which is our education kind of Zooms. And we made him make a phone call, and he sounded terrible the first call, right? But we've all been there. We've all made a first call, not knowing what we're doing. And the next call, so much better, like exponentially better. Then the next call after that, so much better. Within a week, we were going to contact him and ask him to join our team. And he had already joined someone else's team
Oh,
because and I was like, man, come back to us.
what?
But it's crazy how quickly you can actually, and you've seen this, Myron, where just make the phone call, right? Take some action and you're going to get better. And so that's really the rewarding part of, I think, the training side of the business.
Yeah.
Some of my issue is, see, I have people now take the crystallizer test before I tell them to make calls, because there are people just like myself who just are like, I will do anything else except for make a cold call. Literally, I'll take out the garbage at your house before I do that. And that's just how I just have a block, right? I can make calls. Like, I post calls on my Instagram, but it's like I had such a mental block because I wanted to, I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to sound like I don't know the answer, because I don't know, it's ego thing, I think. But there are people who are more on the visionary side who are like, I don't care. I know I don't know. I'll make it up, or I'll just say, hey, let me get the answer. There's a difference of just like risk aversion, right? And so I'm like, I need people. We brought some people on who were high integrator, and I would give them a list, and it would be 3 weeks of no calls. Hey, something came up. I couldn't make calls this week. I'm like, yo, it's been almost a month. And so I have to remove you. Like, I can't have you on the team. Right. And so this new thing that's coming up, whatever it's called, the Get Your First Deal Challenge thing. There are a lot of people that are applying with us are high integrator. I'd say 60%. I'm like, is that because of me?
Are you having them take the test before they join your team? Are you? Cool. I like that idea.
I do too.
I want the results, because I want to go like groups.
Yeah.
Or pair.
Yeah.
Let's pair up an integrator and a visionary who will make calls. Okay, go make calls. Here's your integrator. Here's your whatever. I don't know.
Make little mini teams out of it.
Yep.
I like that.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not masterminding this. I'm just like.
No, but I think that's helpful, just walking through even that, right? Because we're getting so many different types of people, and it's awesome. I mean, I think we have a 75 in our Facebook group. We had to make a Facebook group because there were so many people texting me. I'm like, go here so I can organize everybody in one spot, because I can't. I had so many new contacts. It's crazy.
Yep.
I should have used my Instagram instead of my cell phone number, I think, at first. But we had to do that. But trying to figure out how to organize these people based on who they are, what they want to do, what they're comfortable with, what they want to learn. I mean, that's going to be really helpful to kind of separate them by that, to set them up for success.
And I think that's really important, right? Because I think that, Myron, you don't like to cold call, right? You'd rather take out the trash, as you said. And so why would I force you to cold call if it's not what you really want to do, And if we can identify what exactly these people want to do and then guide them in that direction, whether it's working with you or us or someone else, they're not going to advance unless they actually are doing what they want to do and what they feel like they're good at.
Right.
It's like square peg, round hole. Why am I telling you to go make 100 phone calls a day when that's not your superpower?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the way that Don and I have been looking at this new challenge is, how can we explain to people what it is that we do and what we feel like we do well and what we can teach you effectively? And hopefully it makes sense for you. If it doesn't, please go find someone else who you connect with.
For
Because
sure.
that's the key here, right? Find a mentor, find someone who you can collaborate with who does what you do, maybe a little bit better that you can learn from.
Yep.
And, I mean, honestly, if I don't know who's watching this, but that's kind of why we are friends with you, because you do something better than us, and we want to be like you. So
Elaborate on that. So how can I help with whatever you're thinking? What are you thinking?
So the part of the issue that we have is that we don't have a, hey Scott, let me call you right back.
Okay.
Sorry guys. I think Dawn and I lack the integrator side of the business.
Yeah.
In our business, there is no integrator. The person that we have helping us with our CRM is kind of like our hired integrator in a lot of ways.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's, kind of like the service that you run, right? It's hey, how can I help kind of put you into a system that takes you from lead to close?
Yeah.
And, it's easy for us to see a big picture. Sometimes Don and I look at each other when we're on Zoom, and we spend all day on Zoom, probably like I'm sure you do as well. And we look at each other going, how do we figure out this one little issue that should be something simple? How do we integrate this, or how do we take this from step one to step two? And, it's just, there's like no energy between us sometimes because we can't think of it.
Yeah.
And you need a different type of brain on these things sometimes.
Yeah.
And so for someone like you don't have I can cold call. I can get on the phone. I have no problem getting on the phone, but I have a problem building out integration systems and databases, whereas that's a superpower of yours. So I think the key for a lot of us is just find people who complement you, right?
Yep.
Fill the gaps, because we can't do it all.
Right. And I think in one way, right, like you said earlier, Myron, was that you found where your bottlenecks were and you made tools or things to improve that, right? And so once we kind of realized, oh, we have the same bottlenecks, we need to figure out what he's doing and how that's working. And then you're like, hey, we'll try this. Let's see if that helps. Let's work on this together. I was like, yes, this is awesome. Like, I need this tool. This is great. And it was simply just like the LOI generator gave us time back in our business. And funny enough, that was in July. You gave us that LOI generator in July, which allowed us to get to more of our leads in our system to be able to send those offers that led to contracts.
Amazing.
So it was really, really cool. And then you just keep putting other things out that we're like, okay, now we got to figure out how to integrate this into our business, because we don't want to get into a position where we have all these great tools and we're like, how do we use them effectively?
Right.
And do we have the team to be able to manage all of that? And we're getting our footing with it. But at the very least, that LOI generator that you created for your own bottleneck system to be done helped us immensely. And it just made it easy for us to be able to write these things up instead of Mike having to spend hours on end at the end of the night trying to put together contracts or offers, all day.
Because I've done that.
I have
been up until 2, 3, 4 in the morning writing contracts. And then here's what I'll do at 4 in the morning is I'll call Dawn, because I know she's awake, just so I can have she's like my coffee at 3 a.m. That's what she is.
That's amazing. So tell me, because since Ryan Schroep and I developed that other tool, the market takeover tool, our business has really just shifted to that. That's my offer system.
Yeah.
And then we'll take that lead. Let's say the agent comes back and says, yes, we like it. Or here's the mortgage statement, blah, blah, blah. I'll go to the either the LOI generator, or now I just made a contract generator. So I'll go to the contract generator and underwrite it, spit it out. And so my thing is like, Mike, I was doing the same exact thing, like staying up, like I have to get this done tonight, or it's going to bleed into tomorrow, and then tomorrow's going to have 18 more things. Like here's my notebook. I'm almost done with it.
Yep.
Right? So I'm old school, and I write things down that I need to do, and then I go scratch it off. So yep. And it's like, I love it. It's what makes us money, but like, dang, there has to be a better way than us doing this. And then the TCs are like, no, I can't do any more contracts. There's some kind of, we're not, if they mess up, they'll get in trouble. Right. And so our TCs are like, if you can get me the contract started, I can put the fine tooth comb stuff on there that I can dot your I's and cross your T's, but you have to send me a contract and I'll send it out for signatures. That's so things kind of change as we go along and we have to pivot. So, how are you all? I guess I'll ask some questions. So like can you tell me the structure of your team right now?
Yeah. So I'm on acquisitions. I sort of head up the acquisitions team. Don is on dispositions. We have an underwriter slash trainer slash just keeping us sane person named David Lamb in sub 2.
Oh, David, I know him.
Yeah, he's great. He's
an underwriter.
Yeah, he's kind of like, so his background is in martial arts. He's a black belt in martial arts, and he trained adults and kids, and he just has this knack for being able to work with people, and the guy's patience is otherworldly, and so he's fantastic.
Okay, cool.
His bread and butter is teaching, right? Like he loves to teach, and then also just thinking about operationally how we should be moving where we're having struggles, along our conveyor belt, right? Like what's happening. So he's been a true asset to our team.
He does this thing when we're talking. We'll do lots of brainstorming sessions, but he'll do this thing when we're talking, and he'll turn around and he'll hold his chin. He'll kind of do something like, and I know that move is going to make us lots of money because he's just like, he has ideas like that.
Awesome.
His thinking face, right, is like he'll be staring right at the camera, but then he'll just like look up a little bit. I'm like, I can't tell if he's mad or if he's thinking. Like, where are we at right now?
It's a little scary, right?
It can be,
yeah,
but no, he's great.
He's fantastic. So we're kind of the management team of the business, and then we have some people on acquisitions. We have, and that's kind of ebbed and flowed, as you know, right? Kind of people who come in, people who come out. And so we have an acquisitions team of how many do we have? I guess we only have
only have one.
Got it. One right now on acquisition. So I'm taking care of a lot of the stuff, but part of the reason that we're talking, I think probably as a group, and Don and I are talking separately, is how do we properly build out the acquisitions team and properly support them. And so that's kind of what our team looks like right now. We're also in the process of building out systems to use your market takeover tool and get better data. I think part of the problem for us is that when Pace took away the elephant challenge, that we didn't anticipate that early enough.
Right.
And so we were getting, I don't know, 15 leads a day from our baby elephants. And then when Pace canceled the elephant challenge, that went away. And so we needed to replace that with more data, more leads.
Right.
And so that's kind of our transition at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, our team's small and tight, and we like it that way. However, we also know that, we need people who are wanting to do those outreach calls, right? Who are wanting to make relationships and funnel that lead up to someone who's going to close it, like your Jade, for example. And in our case, it's me.
Yep. Okay. So Mike is basically your closer.
Mm-hmm.
Don Dispo. David Lamb is kind of like your glue.
Yeah.
Person. He's gonna underwrite the deal.
Yep.
Okay. So your team, your person who's calling or whatever they're doing, you have one person basically sourcing leads. They go to David to underwrite, and then they go to you.
So let me,
Or
I
the other
think we should also take a little bit of a backtrack here a little bit, because the leads that our acquisitions person is touching for the first time is actually the second touch for that, because we're going direct to agent. We have a team of people who are actively doing cold call outreach to agents. So we'll give them data and they will call the agent to generate some interest, and then that's passed over to our acquisitions person.
Yeah.
I don't know if that threw a wrench in.
What's that, Tim? What's that person's name?
There's like 10 of them. So there's like 10 of these people generating those kinds of leads, just doing the first touch point and then getting it to Ryan.
Ryan.
So what we did, Myron, is we took, after the Elephant Challenge went away as a scramble to continue to generate leads, we took some people who were interested from the Dumbo dials that we were doing, people who were super motivated, people who wanted to take the next step and maybe get more personalized training and education.
Right.
And so there's about 12 of those. And David Lamb is taking that group and he's training that group on how to do this business basically, but starting at step one, right? How do we pull data? How do we generate a lead?
Okay.
And then eventually passing that off to our Ryan, our acquisitions person.
Okay.
So that's the structure.
Everything goes to Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And then does Ryan send to Mike or to David?
To me.
Okay. So it goes Ryan to Mike, and then Mike goes, okay, cool. David, look at it. Does he write up you write up the contract.
So here's how it goes. So Ryan, when it's ready for an offer, when the agent says, yeah, send me over an offer or an LOI or whatever, he'll send that over, I guess, technically to David to write the offer. David will push that out to me. The offer is sent from me and I will do the follow-up with that agent.
Got it.
So I'm the touch point after Ryan, and I'm the one who describes the offer, how the process works and all of that.
Got it. What if David sent the offer instead of you?
He sends it as me.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So, okay. This is a common wholesale setup, right? Like you have all your VA type of people, a follow-up person, Ryan, a closer, Mike, and then underwriter, and then a dispo person. Okay, cool.
So between our structure and your structure, what's the difference in the structure of the flow that you think is working to your benefit? I'm just curious what you think the difference would be.
I don't have a Ryan. Well, I do have a Ryan, but I took myself, so I can close, but I want other people to close. So basically I'm like Mike's position, but I want to run the company. So I brought on two more acquisition people so I can run the company.
Got it.
Right.
So you took out Ryan and you see like our VAs, right, as the people that are under like Jade or something, kind of go, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. So basically I took Ryan away and I put basically Mike and those people together. But it's 10 to 12. That's rough.
Yeah.
So it's more like 5 and 5.
Yeah.
So I brought on another person, and then it filters out.
So Myron, I think one big, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but it sounds like the biggest difference in terms of the lead generation is that ours is more proactive, reaching out through cold calling. Are you also doing that, or are you doing market takeover tool to create LOIs to basically create inbound responses?
Yep. So all of my first touch people have a market takeover tool, like a version of it that we made, and they'll send out the minimum to send out is 100 offers a week per person.
Okay.
To stay on this team, you need to make 100. You have to send 100 emails, and there was a guy that was struggling. Here's a bottleneck. There was a guy who was very high on visionary, very low on integrator, and we said, "Hey, here's your stuff. Here's how to set it up. Like, get it set up, because you kind of have to do it on your own."
Mm-hmm.
So he bought his Mail Meteor account, which Mail Meteor is the plugin for Google Sheets to send out the emails. But he did some weird stuff because he didn't know, right? He's like using a Microsoft 365 email, plug it somehow I don't know how he did this, but he plugged it into a Gmail account, and it kind of just made a mess.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, this is a one-time thing, but I'm going to have our integrator is going to basically sit there and set that up for them. And there's going to be an SOP, like it needs to be an email that says Thrive Mode on it, right? So it'd be Mike thrivemode@gmail.com, something like that. Don with Thrive. I don't care. And then set up a new email, set up a new system, minimum 100 offers per week. Here's your market. Do not deviate. Do not bring me stuff from Alaska. Do not bring me stuff from California. This is your one market.
That hit deep, by the way.
Yeah.
The Alaska comment hit deep.
Well, hey, I was looking in Fairbanks. Don't get me wrong, but
We had
it's
something
like,
for you a few months ago.
yeah, I like Fairbanks, but it's like we got a cash deal from Washington, and we made $3,000. Okay, cool. I was floored that we found a buyer for that thing. So a cash deal in a market we don't even work in. So like you're given the market. I'm sorry, you can't pick. Like, I got to steer the ship. The ship is going like this, and if I need to steer to the whatever that way, then that's the way we're going. So it's like the dog doesn't wag the tail type of stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's people on my team or agents or sellers, the tail doesn't wag the dog. Sorry, the tail does not wag the dog. So, yeah. So going through even that, there's some stuff that I want to make sure gets handled, because that guy was not making offers for 2 weeks just because we weren't setting up Mail Meteor. And we have so much going on. It's like, okay, we got to onboard this guy. So we sat on a Zoom with him day before Monday for like 2 hours trying to figure this thing out. I'm like, okay, guy, like, let's just start over, right? Just start over and get it all set up. So all my team, they all have their version of that tool to send out offers and get incoming calls. The day that he sent out his offers yesterday, he got a lead.
Imagine that.
Weird.
It's crazy.
Yep. So and I go, okay, so this is like an integrator to me. It's like an integrator way to make offers. Hey, I'm just going to set up my sheet and make offers, right? And so I'm like, all you're doing is getting incoming calls.
You're not having to do outbound.
Incoming calls, incoming emails, and respond. Can you respond? No? Get out of here, right?
Yeah.
So it's a much easier push, and I can get people who are more level versus high visionary. When it's full on calling, dialing, you can dial the numbers, but when you click call, that's different. You know what I mean?
Yep, hits you right here, right? The nerves hit. Yeah, I know. What do we say now? So, Myron, what would you say, based on 100 offers, the response rate is on those offers being sent out for your team? Do you have KPIs on that?
I do. Response rate, it depends on market. It depends on what market you're working. So if you're going to go Dallas, you're going to get probably response rate. You're probably going to get more than 10% response. Probably open rate. So let's say within the first week, I bet you get 15 responses and probably at least one contract out of 100. The goal is to get one contract a week.
Yeah. You send 100 offers, you get one contract. That's That seems about right as far as like KPIs on average in general. So I like that. I like that a lot.
It all comes down to the market you're working.
Yeah.
So you all work Dallas, and you know that Dallas is so competitive, right? It's crazy. Like
It's nuts.
70 sub two offers on some of these things.
Yep.
And real quick, Merrick has a question. Sub two only offers, creative offers.
Yeah. We have not done any cash transactions. So we've only done creative on market.
Perfect.
Hybrids and sub twos.
Hybrids and sub twos. That's all we do.
Yep.
We get random cash deals, and I'm like, I don't even want to mess with it. It's going to slow me down.
And not to deviate too much, but you're right. It slows people. People will bring us cash deals, and you almost have to stall the whole business for a couple hours, right? And
because you're switching your brain, like trying to underwrite a little bit differently and trying to figure out, okay, now I got to switch this mode. It's like you're switching two different gears in a system. It takes a minute for that system to get back up and running.
It's a whole nother business. It's a completely different business.
Totally separate.
Yep.
So Myron, what if the people underneath your closers, those are the ones who are required to send out 100 offers per week, right? Okay. And so those ones that go out, could those be done by someone else, like a VA, for example, and then just those people wait for a response as opposed to requiring them to do that themselves? Or is there a reason, I guess, why you have them doing that for themselves?
I want them to feel we could have a VA basically make everybody's offers, right? I want them to field those incoming calls. They could, but I honestly don't want. I want to do. Here's my goal: no VAs, Google Sheet setup, make $100,000 a month. That's it. Like so
little cost.
Yeah. I go, hey Jade, I know how to put REI reply together, go high level. I can really, really run us some leads through this. Do you want me to run everything through REI reply, or do you just want to stay with Google Sheets? Google Sheets. And Alan is our other guy. Alan is a chicken farmer from Georgia. Sounds like Luke Bryan. Asked the same question. Like, I put him in REI reply. He's like, dude, I can't even look. I can barely turn my computer on. I don't want to look at REI reply. I can look at a Google Sheet. And so it clicked with me. I'm like, we make this like
too complicated.
The tool is the thing that's going to do the thing. But really, it's like, what will work for that team? What will work for your people?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I asked my people, hey, what do you want to do? I just like Google Sheets. So that's what we're going to do.
So none of the stuff is in a CRM. This is all in just a Google Sheet CRM, right? And so your, what do you call the people below Jade? What's their title?
Callers.
Okay.
Yeah. So your callers don't even have like a thrivemode.com email address, for example. They just use their own. Got it. Interesting. Yeah.
Well, I want like Mike Thrive Mode at Gmail. Make it congruent, because you're going to be sending my website. You're going to be Jade has a Thrive Mode. Alan has a Thrive Mode. My underwriter James has a Thrive Mode. But all the other people are, it's like not everybody, but sometimes it can be a revolving door, and I don't want to incur costs I don't have to.
Right.
Jade says keep it simple.
Yes.
And that's a really good point too. Is the turnover. Especially, I think at Jade's level, the turnover is going to be less frequent than it is at the caller's level, right?
Oh, for sure.
And have you brought on both sub 2 and non sub 2 people on your team?
Yep.
Have you seen a difference between those two groups?
I would argue yes. So like Jade wants to call them lead generators. That's fine. So lead generators, yes. Sub 2 students tend to stick around.
Interesting.
For us, sub 2 students tend to stick around for us. but Alan is not a sub 2 student. And let's see, Savannah's been in our team for a few months. She's not a sub 2 student. She's a Gator.
It just stuck to you like glue. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's you too, Myron. I think
Yeah.
that you provide a lot of, just knowing you, I think you provide a lot of resources to your team, and also probably a really good culture
And a ton of value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's Ryan's question. I was gonna say this too. They pull their own lists. So they go get PropStream. Now, Jade, I think Jade has pulled lists for people on her team, and Alan too. But it's like I'm trying to run very low cost. I don't want to be pulling lists. I did that at first. I was pulling everybody's lists, doing all the contracts, doing all the dispo. All you had to do was make a call. I'm like, okay, I'm really selling myself short.
Mm-hmm.
Now they go pull their own. We teach them how to pull a list, put it into their market takeover tool, email it out, bring it to Jade, bring it to Alan.
So at what point do they bring it to Jade? Because that's my curiosity, is like, how far do you let them go with it on certain deals?
It depends on the person. You know how it goes. So
that's why I asked the question.
Yeah, it really depends on that person. So if they're just starting, it's literally going to be, I have a lead, get on a call. They said, hey, tell me more, get on a call.
Right.
There are other people that are like, no, I want to take it as far as I can and even try to get the contract. So it just depends. It just depends.
So at any point, let's say those callers, if they get it really far, like they got a yes, did they send it directly to underwriting before they send it to Jade, or does it always go to Jade?
It always goes to Jade and Alan.
Got it.
I have to have I need Jade to get on the phone and say, hey, I just want to make sure we got all this, I put a nice bow on this thing to make sure all the things are explained correctly. Alan as well. Alan has to get on the phone, just make sure everything is, there's nothing misunderstood. Oh, hey, they said that you'd balloon us out in a year. No, that's not going to happen. So that doesn't happen. I'm just saying, crazy things happen.
Crazy things happen.
Yeah. 18-month balloons, right? Not 12-month.
So when you guys are doing, let's say you guys are working on a lead, right? Or even almost to a contract, and it just isn't quite the right time. Maybe it's newer in the listing, or maybe the seller isn't interested at the moment that Jade gets on the phone, or even your caller. Who does the follow-up? Once it gets past to Jade, who's responsible for follow-ups in that kind of cycle?
Yeah. I think I leave that up to Jade. So I see a lot of it. I'll see Jade follow up a lot.
Probably depends on if it's a hot or cold, or kind of where they are with it. Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking.
I think it's kind of like bouncing. So depending on the deal, it's going to go back to, you saw Savannah on here. Savannah's on our team. Savannah's working in Oklahoma. So if it's like, hey, Savannah, keep following up, then Savannah will do it. So it depends. It depends. Like if it's a cash flowing deal on a long-term rent,
that's Jade.
Yeah. Go get that thing.
Yeah.
That will make us some money.
Yeah.
Or we might buy it,
Myron, what are you buying these days? Tell us, I'm kind of curious what you guys are up to.
I want to get a small multifamily before the end of the year, but damn it, it's already the 6th. But I want some kind of small multifamily as soon as possible, at least first quarter. If it's in Dallas, I'll be so happy.
What about a group home?
You don't want another one in San Angelo?
San Angelo, how many units is it? What?
No. I was saying, I was just joking that you didn't want another one in San Angelo, instead of Dallas.
It's just less convenient. It sounds like.
Oh, I would do it if it's smaller. I don't want anything big right now.
Yeah.
I want something in the 20 to 30 range, and then we're closing on a San Antonio We were struggling to close this one, but I think we're going to get it next week. It's going to be a midterm rental in San Antonio.
That's awesome.
I want more midterm stuff. I'll do a pad split if I have the crew to do the remodel stuff, because it's not that much to frame out a living room if the living room supports it. You know what I mean?
We got one for you.
Yeah, I mean, you could take that Belton deal.
Yeah, take the Belton deal.
Oh, let me look at it again.
It's
think I've looked at it
apparently a
like a
5-bedroom. It could easily be 8.
And it's got
Easily.
2 entrances to the front already.
Dope.
So
Yeah. And a
Is that the
treehouse
one
in the
you all
back.
own? Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But let's see. Yeah, so smaller multifamily, single family that will work as midterm or a pad split, or corporate lease insurance, whatever that is.
Mhm.
mhm.
And then we will in 2024 get a boutique hotel.
Oh, I know that's going to make Carolyn so happy.
So for my birthday, for Father's Day, I got a gift card to a spa for like a massage. Didn't do it. Didn't use it. So on my birthday, Carolyn goes, "You're gonna go get that massage. Use your gift card." And so I did, and I walked in. I'm like, God, I wish our house was like this. You know what I mean? Like, God, it's so like relaxing. And I go, we're gonna get a hotel, and we're gonna add in a spa. So hotel spa thing.
hmm
You get a retreat.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 8 to 10 key doors hotel. Nothing, not Motel 6, like whatever it is, 300 doors, just a little guy and a little spa.
You know, I can see
Carolyn's asking about your clean deal. Who
Nope.
bought that?
Nobody bought it.
What?
I know. It's freaking
disappointed.
nuts.
I'm disappointed. Not
I
in
know.
you. Those buyers. God.
No, I'm in charge of dispo, so it hasn't sold yet. That's my fault. So I gotta get back on that.
No.
Myron, you know what I could see for you guys? Maybe this is more for Carolyn than it is for you. Maybe it's combo, but I can see you guys owning like a boutique hotel with a spa in like Marfa, something like that.
She loves Marfa.
I could see you guys do. I could see that be a good fit for you guys.
Carolyn, did you hear that? Yeah. We drove all the way to Marfa to do a what was it? An engagement photo session. So Carolyn's a photographer on the side, and a couple of her friends said, "Hey, we want to get engagement photos in Marfa," and we went to that little, what is that thing? It's not Nordstrom. It's like
It's a Gucci.
Yeah. We went there.
That's
I'm
awesome.
impressed that you know that, Mike.
I have a wife who shops. It's like
It's Prada.
Oh, Prada.
She's yelling.
We one of our team members a couple days ago brought us this thing called, what is it called? Hood maps or something like that.
Oh my gosh. It's the best.
And you look up on a map, it's like a Google map, and it shows you what sort of the stereotype of the people who live there are. And where I live, it says white women be shopping. Which is
I
true.
mean, you should really look up the one in Dallas. Like it's really good. I was dying. And I even looked up Austin and then San Antonio. It's like this is not wrong in a lot of ways. So, but it was just fun.
We should put that on our dispo stuff going forward.
Review the hood maps.
Here's the hood map review.
Yep. I love that.
If it's good.
You want to find out the income? Just look and see where it says there's rich people, like right there. It'll be on there.
So, Myron, where do you see your business going from here? How do you see it evolving? I guess on the sub 2 wholesale side, I'm kind of curious, what the next 6 to 12 months looks like for you.
Yeah. With this development with Pace and the challenge, I want to start a Discord. I like Discord better. I know it's kind of nerdy, but like I can organize things. I can say, hey, this is a channel for integrators. This is a channel for callers and blah, blah, blah. And we can run Zooms or whatever training appropriately and pair people up. And with Facebook is hard to manage for me. A group is hard to manage. And it just kind of goes off the rails, where I feel like I can keep things on the rails with a Discord server. So I'm supposed to get it today. I paid some guy like $50 to build me out one.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's smart. I wouldn't have even thought to do that. Like,
yeah.
No.
Alejandro Alvarez told me, hey, go build one. And I'm like, man, I don't really need it right now. And then, okay, shit. Now I think I do now.
Need one. Yep.
Yes.
So we're going to build out a Discord, and I want to take, so our months are looking somewhere in the 80 range for assignments, 80 to 100 ish, depends on what happens. And I want to double. I want to double our assignments. I want to double our volume. I don't think that's going to be too hard. I know the market is whatever stabilizing or is going to drop down a little bit. We don't think it's going to go too fast on interest rates, but I think we're going to have a good year, and I think it's going to be easy to double our revenue. I think there's some. It's so, to me, I don't know. I'm going to sound like a total jackass right now, but it's easy to get deals right now. If you go to the creative group and you just scroll from today, there's like 30 deals on there right now. And I don't know who these people are blocking up these deals. I have no idea who they are. And so, like, how are they finding buyers? They're just putting in Facebook group, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think another revenue stream would be JV, right?
And dispositions.
Yeah, just go grab some more dispo stuff. And that should be an easy way to make a little bit of extra side cash and not have to lock up or put down EMD. Risk capital is hurting sometimes. Like I blew through one here in Dallas and I shouldn't have. So just lost $500 2 days ago. But it was my fault. But where our business is going is we want to buy more. Like Shrope is still on here, but we our little tool is making some decent money per month. My LOI generator is making decent money per month. I want to get wholesale running and like Keebler Elf type of thing where it's just going.
Yep.
And we're making great money, and
it just kind of runs itself.
Grow in other ways, go get more multifamily and put that money into multifamily.
So let me ask you a question. This is something that Don and I have run into a little bit recently as far as assigning sub 2 deals. And, I think that the three of us, and Don especially, Don is very, very aware of making sure that the seller is really, really well taken care of, right? Post-close.
Yep.
And so we're very careful with the people that we do sell deals to, because we want to make sure that they make the payments, right? That they do what's right and it doesn't go back to them at some point. And I'm curious what you're doing to even possibly maybe vet your buyers, or are you having any issues kind of post-close with buyers who are, I think you kind of know where I'm going with this, right? You just want to make sure that everything is done correctly and that you're not putting the seller in a bad spot.
Yeah. We just assigned one in San Antonio. Well, it was last month. And they end up, I'm like, okay, so they need to replace their insurance, right? Like they need to do it properly, right? And so they end up being like, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to do this stuff. And like, oh crap. So our TC is, I'm like, okay, like our TC is Carolyn. Her name's Carolyn Vasquez. hey, this is a way for her to go in and help get power of attorney for the mortgage, power of attorney for the insurance, and get all that, help them get that stuff set up. She can make some more money doing that. My fault was I didn't say, hey, before we continue, do you know what to do?
Yeah.
And if you don't, so here's what I'm going to, so yes, we've had some issues. Nothing has gone back, but we've had some people just like, I don't know what to do. What I want is 2 months. So, okay, if they're brand new, I'm going to write this down. They're brand new, or if I feel like they're sketchy, we don't sell. Okay. And I've had people literally blow me up, pissed.
Yep.
Me too.
Like start doing weird stuff.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't care. Okay. So if someone's sketchy, hey, this one's not for you. I might have something in the future, but this one's not for you. And I never send them anything ever again. So, but if they're brand new, I understand because I was brand new too. And so you have to have servicing.
Yeah.
Have to service and 2 months of PITI escrowed.
Escrowed.
Yep.
Love that.
2 months PITI escrowed. So in case something happens, you have 2 months there. So if there's not funds to pull, they're there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to service, you have to get PITI. If you don't know how to do the insurance, RTC will do it. It has to get done. And you have to have servicing before close. I'm going to write that down. Before close.
Yes.
Do you take care of insurance before close also?
No, we do not.
There's a great guy up in DFW, by the way. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Heeman?
No, his name is Mike. I'll forward you over his information. Awesome. Specializes in sub 2 insurance.
Not this Mike.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, he's a great guy. His name is Mike.
It's not this Mike.
There's a great guy named Mike in Austin, but
Yeah.
Cool. We have been using Carolyn, what's that called? Pace's group. But
Top tier.
no, the insurance guy.
Jenkins?
Carolyn will know. Carolyn will know. But I'm gonna write this down. Mike Dallas Insurance. So we wait. I think we wait a week after close and then change the insurance.
Yeah.
Steadily.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as we all know, just being part of sub 2, that's super important, right? Making sure the insurance is done correctly. I had a buyer for a deal that I wrapped last year contact me and say, hey, we're doing our insurance. We're renewing our insurance. I said, well, hold on a second. Let's just make sure it's done correctly.
Yep.
And they didn't want to go with our insurance guy, so they went with their own. And it required the work on our end to make sure that it's done correctly, right? We want to make sure that the seller's on there, that the mortgage company's on there, that they're on there, that we're on there as well, right?
Yep.
Because we have an interest in the property.
Yep.
Because we have a loan on it. So yeah, it's super important to get that done. And, we want to make sure that we do servicing pre-close. We want to make sure that the insurance is done correctly whenever that is done. And I think that's kind of been something that we need to focus on moving forward.
Do your buyers ever bulk at that, like where you require servicing before close?
No, I don't. No.
Because he's accepting me if they do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they're new, this is what we have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of newer buyers are harder buyers.
Yeah.
They'll complain about the taxes, the escrow balance, all kinds of things that are,
Standard.
Yeah.
Standard. Like, or let's, for example, we tell them, hey, this is the entry plus closing costs and, all of that stuff. Well, when the HUDs start to come out, hey, there's this on the taxes, there's this on the insurance. Hey, you got to pull this from here. And they're like, oh, well, I'm not paying that. I'm like, that's part of the cost here. Well, that's not what you told me. And I'm like, those are costs that we didn't even know about. Like, how are we supposed to be able to, just read the mind or see in the future that these are costs? Now we work with them and just try to figure out the best way that we can get this deal done. But it's like you said, dealing with new buyers are harder because they haven't been through it yet. They don't know what to expect.
Yep.
You don't know that they may find something is like the taxes are due. Right?
Yep.
And you're paying double the taxes. So it's
Hey, let me be right back. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're good.
And I think, Don, I think that's kind of interesting that sub 2 is so different than cash, right? The closing is so different than cash in the sense that if I know my assignment fee going into a cash deal is 15 grand, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is the purchase price plus my assignment fee. That's what it's going to be. And closing costs are going to be pretty standard across the board for the most part.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sub 2 and when we're transferring escrows and we're doing all of these insurances and that sort of thing, things happen.
We can't always predict all of the cost, right? And we will work with our buyers that if something does pop up, we'll communicate all of that. We'll try to see what the best solution is. And so we're not trying to be greedy or anything, but we want to make sure that what needs to be taken care of are standard things, or if there are things that we truly need to work together on to try to solve, because it wasn't an expense that the buyer should have had to pay or maybe shouldn't have had to pay at that time, right? It was just something unexpected. So, it's very important that when you're vetting your buyers, you talk to them about how many they've done and what they've ran into and what they pay, what they don't pay. Hey, if something pops up here, are you willing to take care of it? No, I don't know. Well, you kind of have to figure out what those answers are and what their risk tolerance is, or if they're just straight about the numbers. You tell them it's going to be 40K, they're not paying a cent more than 40K, and you have to work on that. So I think it's important that we make sure that we're getting into deals with people that know what they're doing, but also are willing to learn and collaborate on trying how, to get this done.
Yeah.
Work together. So.
Hey, Myron, if you were, I always ask this question of people who have been in this business for a little while and who have built a business. If you were to start all over again from day one, what are some of the things that you would have done differently that maybe you've realized at this point, or would you change anything from this point on just in terms of your general business structure? And what would you do differently starting day one?
Day one of starting real estate or day one of building the team?
Both. I'm curious because now you've kind of given me that little nugget. I'm curious what you would do differently in real estate.
If I were to start all the way over like day one, I think I did a good job of like seeking a mentor as soon as I could. I was literally begging people on LinkedIn. And I'd go to real estate and LinkedIn and say, hey, I need a mentor. Please, 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 please. And they would tell me no. And then we found sub 2 shortly after we quit our jobs. And then my issue was I had a scarcity mindset times 100. And because I had this fear, because I had no income coming in, and I saw my nest egg doing this, and I was like, I need to make money now, and I am going to do it. And I was just like, and I had no team mentality whatsoever, because all I'm thinking about is my family. That's all I'm thinking about. And so if I were to start over, I would join a team that was doing deals. I did not do that. I joined, I tried to create my own team because my ego was in the way as much as I could, right? So my ego was in the way at first. So if you're just starting, join a team with someone who understands what they're doing, is running stuff. That was my biggest, like it took me and Carolyn now almost 2 years to start because we were in our own way. And so if I were going to start all the way over, join a team, If I was going to start over the wholesale team, I feel like things happen for a reason, Mike. I started just figuring it out and building or getting things figured out as quick as I could. I knew I had to have a team. I probably would have built out closers quicker. At first, I was closing the deals myself. I'm like, hey, just call this list. I'll close it. I'll write it up. I'll dispo it. And I really should have probably partnered with another team. Like, hey, I can build out your systems like nobody's business. You close the deals. I'll build out your system. I'll bring you leads, help me close. And then start I need to partner with another person on my level. That's probably what I should have done. It's partnering with somebody else.
You know, what'd be really funny is if you said, I'm going to build out your systems. And then the next day you're like, here's a Google sheet. Here's your system.
Hey, if
it works.
Yeah. Right.
It works.
Right.
Sometimes simplicity is the best way to get traction. Right.
For sure.
There's so many different things that we could be utilizing in our business, but it seems like every time we add another cool thing, it complicates and drags down the production to a certain extent, because it's like, oh, it's like another shiny object in your own system.
Right.
And it's like, well, how do we use this? And we could use this way. And trying to keep things simple and simplified is what's going to really get you the traction or the elevation that you need long term. So yeah. Jade's onto something with those spreadsheets.
And it's really just action too, right? Here's a list of leads, call it, right? Or email it in your case, Myron, right? It's generate activity and then figure it out as you go. But the more activity you put at the top of the funnel, the more you're going to have at the bottom, right? It doesn't have to be complicated, to your point, Don, right? It should be simplified as much as possible.
Yeah.
This business is difficult, right? But it's simple too, in a lot of ways. Yeah. So
I think a lot of people are, I was talking to somebody else last week, and they said, we took the market takeover tool, and I think they submitted 3,000 offers on one day. Cause they went to they said, I'm just going to go to every major city in every state, a pull list, and send them out. And it was y'all played with Legos as a kid. The biggest block is six buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Build that 6 buttons straight up. What happens?
It just tip.
It just tips. There's no base.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They just I'm going to go like this, try to get to $100,000 in month one. And so they had no support. And so now everything fell apart for them. All their leads just they didn't even close anything. Right.
Yeah.
But they said it took us that it's like trying to lift 100-pound weight when you haven't been lifting. You know what I'm saying? It's I tried it, and then I went backwards and started building out, because I knew where the bottlenecks were. He's my bottlenecks were immediately apparent. And then I started building out the things that I needed.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, I'm no, let's start in one market. We only did Texas, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, nothing else, nowhere else. You're not allowed to do anything else. And their mindset was let's just go blow it up and then figure it out. And so that kind of helped me. I'm we could go to more markets and then steadily build it out. So I give myself a rule, every new person we bring on, we can work a new market. That's how I want to run it. I don't want to blow it out of the water, because then I become that person that can't perform over and over and over. We want to develop good relationships with our agents, because we've had agents bring us 6 or 7 deals now, in that same market. So there's no reason to, in my opinion, there's no reason to just use people as tools, develop the relationships and work deeper in the markets that you're in. But there's also the thing that we're talking about here is like scaling,
Yeah.
right? So scaling for me, it needs to be more methodical.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, where's the cash flowing stuff? So something Alan and I were talking about tax rates, and he can remember this stuff. I can't. He's like, San Antonio tax rate is blah blah blah. I'm like, how do you know that? Okay, he lives in Atlanta, and
Why would he know that?
he knows. He's like, because he's knowing. He's like, he used to live in Tennessee. He's like, tax rate there is blah blah blah, and Atlanta's this. San Antonio is about this. I think it depends on like whatever area you're in, right? But
Right.
he knows that stuff. I'm like, I asked our James, our like integrator person, can you give me all of our markets and I want the tax rates, all the markets that we're working in, all the cities or counties or whatever it is. Like, I want the tax rates. I asked him that Monday. He's nowhere near done with it, but I'm like, that will help us actually. We can show that to everybody on our team and say, look at the tax rates. This is what's happening. Market here in Dallas, some of these places are $1,000 a month for taxes. Let's start steering the ship towards cash flow. I don't want to buy a non-cash flowing property. I don't. So if I'm not going to buy it, why would anybody else? Right. There's people like Nick Legamaro that will take almost anything, but it has to work in some way, in some capacity.
Right.
So, steering towards more cash flowing properties or cash flowing areas, that's our next step. We should have done at the beginning, Mike. We went with our backyard. That's what Bigger Pockets says to do.
And it makes sense largely, right? Because the market. But, for us here in Texas, it presents its own challenges, right? You just mentioned cash flow. How easy is it to find a cash flowing deal in Texas? Not terribly easy, right?
Very hard.
Yeah, few and far between. So, I think it makes sense to definitely understand what your buyers are looking for if that's your customer, right? It's what kind of product do I have to give to my customer?
Yeah.
And some are looking for cash flow, some are looking for wraps, some are looking just to buy something and get depreciation on it, especially at the end of the year here. So it kind of depends on your market, your buyer, and all those sorts of things. I think it's really interesting, kind of the evolution of your business, and I think that your experience is really. I think that the trend is really common. However, the result is extraordinary, right? I don't think a whole lot of people push through the first 2 years of learning, right, and implementing, and that's kind of what we were doing with our group on the Dumbo DAO. Was like, guys, you have to get off of Zoom. I don't want to see you on a Zoom for 2 weeks because you're on every single Zoom and you're just sitting there not doing anything, right? It's like, go take action.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. It kind of became where they just wanted us to do the work. I'm like, guys, we are doing the work in our own business. This is for you to get some work done with someone that's going to guide you on how to improve.
Yep.
Use the resource that you have. And towards the end, it just became the work became the filter, right? People didn't want to work. And they were scared to, right? In all different ranges of that. It's like, I don't know how to, I'm scared to, I really don't want to, I don't have motivation. Whatever it was, they just wouldn't do it. And we're like, guys, what can we do to make that happen? And so I think with any business, you have to make it clear in your culture and with the people that you have that they can do this business, but you have to get down to their level to figure out why they're struggling, why they're not. That's the hardest part, I think, about scaling, is individually going to the people that you have in your team to be like, cool, how are you doing so well? And what do you need to improve on? Like, where are you struggling? And then working on those individuals to collectively make the group scale together. That's the time-consuming piece.
Myron, how difficult was it for you to actually get out of your business? And I'm not talking about just technically getting out of it, but in terms of being as controlling of the business. So I'll tell you my issue, right? My issue right now is that I feel like if I brought someone into a closer's position, we wouldn't get as many deals across the finish line. And whether that's true or not, it's probably not true, but I think it's just in my head. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out here, and I know that we talked about this a little bit at the mastermind, was scale out. Sure, you're not going to get 100% of the efficiency potentially. It might be 80%. But how did you get out of that role and trust that that role was going to be done the way that you wanted it to be done?
Okay, so for Alan, for instance, Alan, it was probably, I'm gonna say the wrong amount of time, but I think it was like a solid 3 months. I would get on every phone call with him. He was newer, his confidence level was lower, but he has that Tennessee twang. I'm like, you're gonna make some money. I felt it. And so I stuck with him, and I basically brought him. I'm like, okay, next time, instead of giving them a performance deed, let's do no more performance deeds.
Yeah. Been there.
Okay? No more performance deeds. Let's say we're going to put several in one LLC, because that's what we do. Put several in one LLC. All of our rentals kind of work together in that one business, so they're going to support each other. Okay, once that clicked, no more performance deeds, right? And so, or, hey, I want a balloon at 3 years. And you just say, there's no way I can do that. The most I can do, and you go out. The most I could ever do is 8. I don't even think I can do 8. Right? I really need this one on no balloon. So a lot of people, hey, we can do it 1 year balloon. And it's just like different ways to say things. And so basically, if you want, Mike, if you want one person to take your spot, that's not going to work. You
Right.
need at least 2 to do your level. You've been doing this for so long. Your level, your muscle memory is there. Their muscle memory is not at like your level. So you're going to need 2 people to get your level, of 2 or 3 to get your level, to just make up that same volume. And you may even have to stick on the phones for the first few months and pay them.
Mm-hmm.
And then as things change. Hey, we got to restructure JVs. This is what it's going to look like now. This person are going to be closing the deals. Don's on this, or however this was going to work. Whatever the plan is, and start. Things change, bro. Things change. You develop a new company every time you do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think that we're constantly evolving, right? Our personally, and then the business has to evolve as well, right? With the market and how things are working or not working in some cases, right? And I think that I think where we've struggled a little bit too is when we do bring people on, building a culture such that we're able to provide them what it is that they're looking to get out of it, right? And we're all kind of looking for something, whether it's money or training or whatever.
Yep.
And that's kind of what this challenge is about, right? It's about finding fellow members of Sub 2 and training them, but they're also getting compensated for accomplishments, right?
Yep.
And so I think part of our struggle, just in terms of bringing people on, has been a little bit of, how can I dedicate time and resources to this person so that they do get what they want? What would you add to that, Don?
I think it's also setting the proper expectations, right? Their expectations that, hey, this is what you're doing, go off and do that. I don't need to be there all day. I mean, I'm here, but I don't need to be there to make you do those calls. Now, if you're struggling, come in. Like let's have a conversation about it. Let's listen to a phone call. But for every phone call, I don't need an update, right? Put it in the CRM. Like we'll get to it. We'll make sure that we're getting on the phone with them. But setting the expectations for them to be self-sufficient while still feeling supported. I think that's always going to be the hardest part about leading a team is everyone's a little unique based on what they need and what they want and how they operate. So knowing those personalities is probably going to be a huge help. But, we also just need to be better about setting the proper expectations. And sometimes we don't know what that is. We have an idea of what those expectations are, but then they have to change because of that one individual. Yeah, so I think that's always been kind of a struggle for us is Mike and I, we can go after it. Hey, I need you to make 50 calls today. Can you go do that? Oh yeah, I got you. Go off and make these phone calls, right? And then it's a simple conversation back of, hey, I didn't make 50 phone calls, but I had 20 conversations. Boom. Works. It's great, right? Because then there's an action. Then there's something telling me, okay, it's not like they were just twiddling their thumbs or on their, Facebook or whatever. They were doing the work. They just didn't get to the expectation of a call, but they got to more conversations than we ever anticipated. So,
I think that's a really great point, Don. And I'm kind of curious how, Myron, you're taking a look at this too, right? Because I think that I would imagine that you're setting the expectation of 100 offers per week for your team members, right? And are you breaking that down any further from, we expect you to have X number of calls per day or per week, or are you breaking anything down any further than that?
I should, but our goal is, I want to get, I don't know, things are kind of crazy, but I would like for everybody to get one contract a month. Everybody on the team, the caller level or the lead gen people, one contract a month because they're making roughly, 400 offers a month. Like close a contract, right? We can go get 5 contracts today, but they're going to be piles of crap.
Yeah.
But, closing one deal a month. And so my KPIs that I push are just, I want to keep things simple. I don't want to say, hey, you have to make 20 calls. Like, I just want those offers to go out and field everything that comes in. And you have to keep follow-ups. And so, the system right now for us is very basic level. So the things that I don't know that I need to know in 2024, the things that I'm going to build out with the Google Sheet is going to tell me how many offers we're making, how many replies we're getting, what's the open rate of our emails. It's going to be more based around email delivery, right? And then so then from there, it's basically how many LOIs are we sending? How many contracts are we sending? And all those things I can gather just through the Google Sheet. So, are they making all the calls in the world? No. Like, dude, if they want to close this thing all the way over through email, or not close it, but like get the mortgage statement and never make a call, I don't care. Somebody will need to pick up the phone. The closer person picks up the phone and make sure everything's buttoned up, right? Like, let's go over the contract.
Yeah.
But if the lead getter person only works through email, I'm fine with it, because I would do that. I would do that myself.
Are you finding that you're using because you're going mostly to agents, right?
Only agents, yeah.
Okay. So are you using the state contracts or are you using a creative contract?
We do both.
Yeah.
We
What would you say
actually
the
leave that
ratio
up
is?
to the agent.
Okay. So is it like 50-50, you think, or 75 state? What do you think it is?
It feels like 75 state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But crap, I was going to say something else. So we're going to develop the Google Sheet to give us all that data. Calls, I don't really pay attention to. It's more, are you sending the offers? And then I don't, honestly, I do care, but like, if someone's struggling to make 100 offers, dude, it's so easy. It is so easy to pull a list and put the emails in there. If they're not able to do that, I don't want them to work with us.
Right.
I will work with you. Hey, are we like having a technical struggle? If you have something going on with your family, but if you're just like, wasn't able to do it. Hey, you got one more week and then I got to replace. I have no qualms.
Yeah.
Zero.
I think part of the hard part for us is having people who have been maybe 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? Not that kind of dedicated person. And are you gauging that when you bring people on? Are you saying, okay, this is like a full-time position, part-time position, or are you doing anything else outside of what we're doing together?
We gauge it on the interview. So we give people a little Google form to fill out. And I get it. People have kids in soccer, all the things that kids do. And then they might have a W-2. And then on the side, they're going to send out emails, right? And I love that, honestly. So if they're have a family life and they want to do this on the side, I'm fine. But you got to send 100 offers minimum. Honestly, 100 offers is not that much.
Mm-mm.
It's like one area, right? 1 or 2 little counties. So that's like minimum. So if someone wanted to do 400, that's probably what they should be doing if they want to do full time. But if they're unable to do 100, so let's like roll it around to calls made. So they got to dedicate time to do that. And you're going to say, okay, this person has 3 kids. They work a 9 to 5. So on the weekends, they're going to make calls. That's it. Right. And so you got to really like pinpoint, hey, open houses end at 1 o'clock. I don't know when open houses end. Open houses end at 1 o'clock. You're going to call all your leads right after the open house. Right. That's like the hottest. They just sat there and stared at the plate of cookies and no one came. And you're going to hit that agent right then. Like that's the hottest time.
Yeah.
Here, Jade says you can send that in 1 day and be good for the week. Exactly. That's what she does. So.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Look at you working smarter, not harder. So are these people that are doing this, are you guys ever on Zoom with them, or is it just they do it on their own pace and then communicate with Jade kind of situation?
We do a weekly Zoom. It was daily and then it was just too much.
Yeah.
We just had too much going on. And so I just backed it off to every Monday.
Okay.
We are going to go to 3 times a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is what we're going to be doing. So write that down if you're going to write that down. So we're going to do 3 times a week because we're going to have a lot more people going on. If we were at 50 people, it's going to be daily.
Yeah. With of course, pace, if we go off of what his energy is and what he's doing. So, for our internal team, we're on Zoom most of the day anyway, just because it's easier than having to be like, hey, where are you at with this? Or, hey, I got this call. Just communication wise between us 3, it's easier. So we tell our internal team that if you come and need a question, you can come in there. But, when it comes to what we're going to be doing with these other people, how many times a week can we dedicate to get them to start generating some leads, right?
Yep.
How can we teach them how to fish? Because we can give them a list all day long, but what's going to serve them the best is finding that balance between giving them a list and then showing them how to find a list or pull a list or go and generate a lead.
Yep.
So we're trying to work smarter.
So what I'm going to do is make a Loom for how to pull a list in PropStream, how to pull a list in Batch. Here's the filters that we want to do. And we can jump on a Zoom too, but I want a Loom to help them. Like, here's a welcome packet.
Yeah.
Here's your sheet. Here's your this, here's your that. It's already set up. Go make your email. Go make your email. Let's get everything set up. Here's the Loom, how to pull a list. Let's kind of get you there. And if they have questions, obviously we help out. And then we're going to have 3 meetings a week. Let's jump on. Let's see how things are going. Are you on track? I got slapped in the face with this new guy who we took I think it was almost 2 weeks to get him started. That's not acceptable for me. That's my fault.
Yeah.
So we should have had him rolling 2 weeks ago, and I didn't go, okay, let's get this squared away.
Right.
So meeting frequency needs to go up, and accountability for me and my leaders need to go up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question or not. Sorry.
No, you did. No, I think you did. And we tend to go to our comfort, which is spending time on Zoom, but we also don't want it to be a crutch for people, like come in, just chit chat, and then hang out for a little bit when they should be going to make calls, right? And how much time do we balance that out with what they need to know versus what they need to go do?
Yep.
So that's why I was just curious how much you or your team spends together on Zoom.
1 meeting a week. I don't know if Jade, because our that link to get on is open all day long.
Yeah.
So if they need to use it, they can just jump on and jump off. I don't know if they're even doing that. But we will have like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll have like a call calibration day. Right. So like bring your recorded calls. You have to record a call every week and bring it to our call calibration. We want to see good, bad, ugly. Right. And so it'll be like everybody brings a call, right? Or if you didn't record a call, just tell us about a deal. But we want to do some calibrations. Like, hey, tell us about what happened.
Yeah.
Because it may just be email stuff, right? How can we handle things better, right? And so, like, let's say Mike had a call and the agent was just outrageous. Hey, this stuff's illegal, blah, blah, blah. And Mike maybe turn it around. Hey, let me just send you what the offer would look like, right? And he turned it around. And then everybody hears that and they're like, oh shit, that we can turn those people around.
Yeah.
With some like nurturing, I guess you could say. But
yeah.
I assume you all are doing that kind of stuff anyway, but
yeah.
Yeah, our meetings are not where they should be. Our KPIs, like if you ask me what it cost me to get a deal, I have zero idea. I have no idea what it cost me. I'm like, I need to figure that out, but I'm kind of afraid. So we're gonna get that done. I'm gonna get all that together.
That's some real talk right there, is being afraid of your own KPIs. Yeah, I'm in that same boat, I think. And I don't know that we want to know the truth about it, but it's something that needs to happen. We could probably improve on that quite a bit, is looking at our own KPIs.
Yeah. Subscriptions like StreamYard. It's not expensive, but just like,
it's the small stuff.
Death by needles. I don't remember what it's called, but
yeah. Or Rentometer or something like that. I'm like, I forgot I was paying for that.
And Don, didn't you check your Zoom billing recently and it was like $300?
Oh yeah. I got billed $300 in 1 month because of all the recordings.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh God. And so I took them all off, and then I was still charged the next month $300 because it was still in the middle of a billing cycle. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Damn.
So yeah, no, not doing that again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is a building and rebuilding and scaling kind of season. I think for all of us, it's that time of year for us to strip some things down, get rid of things that won't work, and figure out why they didn't work, and rebuilding stronger, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited for what's to come for you guys, right? What you guys are going to be doing in this business, and any other tools that you come up with, I'm ready to look at them. But I think seeing what you guys do next year is going to be impressive, and I'm ready to see all your success.
Yeah, we're auto subscribers to whatever Myron does.
Yeah,
that's what we are.
Just take my money. It's fine.
Well, tell me. I feel like we're about to hang up, but tell me, like, what are y'all thinking? What are you going to change? What are you going to do?
We're going to do a much better job this year, starting yesterday, basically, of building from the bottom up with systems and processes in place, not automations, right? I think that a lot of people get in this go, I want to automate this business. What we want to do is make sure that we know exactly what everyone's doing, how they're doing it, not to micromanage, but just to know kind of what everyone's up to. And then at that point, at least we have an idea of who we can fill in and where into those spots.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing for us has been, how do we generate leads now on a consistent basis? And so that's really a primary focus, is how can we very consistently generate leads that were the same quality or are the same quality that they were before. And I think also a goal for both of us is to be in your position where we are kind of stepping a little bit away from the business, right? On a day-to-day basis where it's running, we can manage it. However, I don't want to be closing deals in 3 months, 6 months, right? And I know Don doesn't want to be doing dispo in 6 months, but maybe just managing some people who are.
Yeah.
And so, but having said that, we really need to dive deep into the business and get dirty in it so that we can build those processes and document them and communicate them effectively to a team.
We just can't overcomplicate it, right?
Right.
Because there are so many different ways to do so many different things in this business, it can get really complex and really compound on itself faster than any of us expect it to. Because you're like, oh, but this one thing worked. Well, if I pair it with this, and then if I do that, and well, if I do it with agent outreach, and then I do it with direct to seller, well, maybe I'm going to do foreclosures. It becomes too much. And they're all great ideas, but you can't manage all of those ideas at once. Like you have to really keep it simple.
Yep.
And it's hard to do. It's hard to stop yourself because you see the benefits of other things happening, but it doesn't mean you should be doing it in that moment. Get one rolling, then add on, right? Then add on, then add on. But I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is not to overcomplicate our process, not to try to add too much at one time.
Yeah.
And knowing when to pull it back, not waiting until we're bleeding a little bit too much.
Yeah. So are y'all going to stay with your CRM and keep the callers on and supplement with emails, or y'all are going to like break it down later?
I think we're really going to simplify what we're doing within our CRM.
Yeah.
And, we have all the bells and whistles that anyone has, right? It's, you have everything available to you. However, how effective is that really, especially if you don't know what it is that you're doing with them? Right. So what we want to be able to do is do more, outreach, but passive outreach, right? The sort of the inbound type of lead generation that you're doing, right? Where, and ours might look a little bit different, but I think it's gonna be more beneficial for our acquisitions team to handle inbound just like you guys, as opposed to spending time cold calling agents all day long. Yeah. So I think we're going to focus a lot of the attention on how we can generate inbound as opposed to outbound, and possibly supplement with some outbound. But that's our sub 2 business. I think that's going to evolve as well, especially maybe as interest rates come down a little bit. We might change our criteria a little bit.
Right.
And then hopefully once everything is hopefully in a spot where we feel comfortable to put people in our shoes, then maybe we try something in addition.
Let go of some control a little bit there.
Let go of some control. Yep.
It's difficult.
If I were to give any advice, it would be do that as quick as possible, or just have that mindset. Like, I want to find 1 or 2 people as quick as possible. You may even know who they are right now. I think this person could do it, and give him the champion belt. Let him put it on. Let him feel that weight. And then you say, okay, keep me on the call. Like, I'll keep me on the calls. I'll walk you through it. And the issue for me is like, when people, move up in W-2 world, they get a promotion, they get paid more, right? And so you got to think of that's everybody's mindset. And you're like, well, but I'm paying for the CRM,
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying for the list, I'm paying for my Zoom account, I'm paying for my this, I'm paying for that, this and that.
EMDs,
Yeah.
TC, you know, all of these costs that especially when we were doing the Dumbo dials, there were people who were wanting 50% of a deal for generating a lead, right? And you're like, wait, hold on a second. Let's really think about what everyone's contributing here, right? We've given you the data. We've given you the training.
And
We're paying for EMD.
I think someone flat out told us on the Dumbo dial, said, well, you wouldn't have this lead without me. I'm like, was it on market? They go, yeah. I was like, okay, well, we would probably have that lead without you.
Or I think our response though was, you wouldn't have this lead without us.
Yeah.
So, not to get back and forth, but you're right, Myron. There's a lot that goes into this business that a lot of people don't see until you're actually running the business.
Yeah.
Right. And
so the quicker we can get that cost per deal, like, hey, here's all our subscriptions, here's all the EMD we lost. It's not their fault. I didn't cancel in time, but that's a cost of doing business. And this is what it's costing to run this business. Like my last job, I'll talk positively about that, is they taught us how to scale. Like we took that company from 0 to 44. Now they're at 100 car washes. I know it's like car washes, but they like, okay, here's the P&L every month. Take your team through it. We want them to know what it costs for the soap, for the water, for the cleaning, like everything. What does it cost per car to just have water in this building, right? And it's like, it really helped me out. And okay, if we need the cost to be this level. We need the CRM cost to be at this level, right? And so if we're not doing the business, we're not supporting the underlying costs, and our costs go up. And so we need our costs to be here. That's like running a business. And so like us talking, we're basically taking our one stack of Legos and building like we can.
Yeah.
And just trying to get our income. Like we got to feed our family and pay our bills. And that's really what we're trying to do, and help people grow along the way to do the same thing. But now it's like, okay, our next level is actually running a business. We're trying to get people in our spots so that we can then go, okay, I need to actually put all this shit together to figure out what it costs me to run this business. Yeah. So as soon as you all can start training that next person and just do 3-way calls for the next month or 2 months. I'm not telling you what to do, but that's what I would do.
No, tell us what to do. Like having perspectives, right? No one really talks about the nitty-gritty of this, right? Yeah. Hey, I did this to try to help do this. And it was very specific. That's what we need. We need more people kind of just giving us their ideas, not necessarily like, hey, we want to steal this. It's more of, I need some direction. Yeah. I need some feedback. Hey, is what we're doing okay? Does it fit? Does it not? It seems like it does, but where's the pitfall? I need someone to look at it from an outside perspective to tell me, hey, this is working, but pay attention to this down the line, or exactly what you just went through. Explaining that aspect of it helps us figure out how we need to kind of put the pegs in the right holes.
Yeah.
Where that's supposed to go.
Like Jade was basically working with Sonia at first. And then Jade like just got with it. And she had like 6 contracts in 1 month. The next month there was another 6. And we're like, Jade's got it. Jade is on. And so we're like, Jade, you need to move up and you need to put someone under your team. Like now. Sorry, I left it to her. Go find people. And so she started like interviewing people on her own. And then Carolyn and I looked at each other like, that shouldn't be her job. She needs to be on the phones. So something else that Car Wash taught me is always be hiring. Always hire. Don't ever stop. And then you'll get traction where people will say, I want to join. and you'll have a line of people like you do right now saying, I want to join. Granted, that line came from Pace Morby, right?
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff should be happening on its own. Mike and Don, we know Mike and Don. I want to be on their team. That is the goal, where you're marketing yourself. It's like, are you me? I'm not marketing myself like I should. I'm not. I think I can do. I know I can do a lot better, and I'm not like, if you look at my Instagram and my Facebook or whatever, I'm not marketing my tools as good as I should. I'm not marketing my business as good as I should. I'm not marketing to hire people as well as I should. That shit should be going daily, and I'm not doing it. It's because I'm still working in the business with contracts and trying to get stuff across the line and all that stuff. Got to move up and start, really running it. And then I'm like, I met somebody who will do marketing for me for $1,000 a month. They will actually tell me, they'll like build it out. This is what we're going to do on Monday. This is what we're going to do on Wednesday. This is what we're going to do on Friday. These are the things that you need to say, and send me the video. I'm like, shit, I like that.
Maybe we need to share that. That's no, I'm just
Send
kidding.
me the script.
No. I mean, like the person.
Yeah. Well, that's what she's saying is, I'll send you the script. I need it to be said like this. I got the graphics ready. We're going to market your thing. We're going to do that. We're going to do this.
I love
help
that.
us build the business, because social media is, I don't know. There are days where I'm like just scrolling through reels, trying to get an idea for a reel to make. And I'm like, it's been an hour and a half. What the hell?
Just someone tell me how to do it. Just tell me what I need to say, and then we'll be good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give you all her contact. Well, actually, let me talk to her first and make sure.
Yeah, talk to her first. Yeah.
But anyways, so I see y'all you're gonna work on getting Mike out of his position as quick as possible. 2 or 3 people, probably one, I don't know, the one. And then Dawn, it might take a little longer for Dispo. Do you have an SOP for Dispo already?
Not really. No, that's my pitfall right now.
But just build something out. So like, step 1 is texting VIP buyers.
Yeah.
Messaging VIP buyers on Facebook. Or get it to TC. Then you're texting your people. Then, okay, what do you go to Discord? Do you go to Facebook groups, or what do you do next? You send an email campaign. Build that out first.
Yeah.
Right. Calling is a little bit less. There's really no script for sub 2 deals, right? I mean, you can put a script together, but like, you need to just kind of understand the process. But Dispo could just be an SOP.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it could be easy. I liked what you were doing, where you said, hey, just go find me a buyer for this, right? You were handing it out basically like a flyer to them to go and pass to people they know, which I was like, that's kind of genius. And if we have to pay them a portion of our assignment, or they can add their fee on top, whatever it is, if it works, it works. So that's definitely something I'll probably try to implement a little bit more with people that I trust, right? And then I'm going to have to vet those buyers that they bring, because I want to make sure that they're solid. Because right now I'm just dispoing in our community, right? And I'm personally getting on these phone calls and reaching out to them individually. So there's some inefficiencies with that too, right? I'm passing it off to the VIPs first, and then posting in our community. But the consistency needs to be there of how often you post it. It's hard to do sometimes in sub 2, because you make a post and you want people to see that first post, and then you don't want to make a second one, but you need to. So it's kind of a weird line. So yeah, and then working on definitely training somebody to do this side of it, so that I can pull out a little bit more and just start building more relationships to build the list.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Are you all doing emailing at all? Do you email out your deals?
Not on like an automation, right? Or not like a blast for a campaign.
Mhm.
It's purely only when people are interested, right?
Yeah.
So if I see that, I'll send it out to a few people at a time once I have, a couple emails in my hand.
Okay. Do you have a spreadsheet with all your buyers?
We have our CRM,
I
right?
see.
So we're using our CRM. I also have a spreadsheet, but I'm working on building out that kind of form and seeing if it's easier for me to track on a spreadsheet or if it's easier for me to track in our CRM.
Yeah.
Because with that, like Jade, it's ease of access, I think,
Yep.
and the way it's presented in our CRM, it's great. It's just looking at how it's presented in the actual site versus what information I can quickly find on a spreadsheet. So I'm kind of toggling between those two.
Yeah. I end up getting ClickUp. It's like Monday.com. I went to this meetup. This lady, um, it ends up being like a wholesale training thing at Pancake House in Addison. So strange. I didn't know what I was getting into, but she's like, I use ClickUp to run my business. And we do $100,000 a month in wholesale. I was like, okay, I'm listening. And so ClickUp will allow you to make a form, make a little website, and that's where I house all my little links with all my information. And I got smart, a little bit smart, and I'd said, okay, I'm going to make a website. It's dispotx.thrivemode LLC. And so I'm putting my name on there or putting my company. So I made a website that houses the ClickUp website.
Mm-hmm.
It's like convoluted, but so now I can just, when I'm dispoing, I just send a website link, dispotx.thrivemodellc.com. So instead of sending a bunch of links and all this other stuff, I can just send them my website and it has my list of all my deals.
I love that.
And so before, like if you look at whoever does, wholesalers, it's like deal by deal, email by email, right? And so when I have a new deal, I'm doing Facebook, I'm doing texting, I'm doing emailing, and it's gonna, hey, I have a new deal. Here's the top 3 deals we have right now. Click my website to get our full list. Or I just got a new one, or I got a new couple. Here's my new list, blah, blah, blah. It's the same link over and over and over.
I love that.
Yeah. Bookmark this. The thing that I wish is when I did an edit, I could blast it out like some kind of notification. That'd be dope.
That would be pretty awesome.
Anyways, yeah, I like Dispo. I love Dispo. I like talking to my buyers who are cool and just like, hey, what's going on? How are you? And we actually have like a cool like investor conversation.
Yeah.
I love that part. I love
Yeah.
Dispo. But acquisitions, Jade's got it.
That's
Alan,
but Mike's got it. Like
Mike's got it.
I could get on the phone. I could talk to the agents. I have no fear when it comes to that, but I think it's the ease of the conversation that Mike has versus the conversation that I do. It's like you run with that. You're much better at that. He handles chaos a lot better.
Creating chaos.
He does do that too. Sometimes
Just
he
for
will
fun.
poke the bear with these agents, and it cracks
Just for
me up.
fun. I love it.
Got to keep things interesting, you know?
Well, cool. I think we have made some good headway. I wrote down that better at teaching. So you all go have a David Lamb for teaching. I need a David Lamb for teaching. So I'm gonna work on that. Someone to basically run our Zooms. That's gonna help our team. So I'm not stealing David. I'm stealing that idea.
Yep.
And then okay, I wrote down that whole graph of how you run your business, and then we're gonna start putting hood maps into our dispo.
There you go. It's totally worth it.
It's so funny.
Something I thought of while you were talking was for the people coming on is grab a battle buddy.
Mhm.
Grab a battle buddy, and we'll help you along your way. what exactly are you looking for is what Mike said. What are you wanting to do? What are you looking for? I'm going to make that an interview question. And then, putting that time and resources into those people. We used to do, not strength finder test, but something else. I can't remember what it was, but like Enneagram or all those things,
Oh yeah.
DISC and all those things. We used to do those. And then, it was a team of 4 or a team of 5 or whatever it was to make a good team. Right. Cause like people who are underwriters aren't necessarily people who are systems. Our systems people sometimes aren't underwriters. I'm systems. I don't really like underwriting. I like to build the conveyor belt. Someone else can like look at the numbers, right? And so like there's that visionary type person, there's the relationship type person, artist person, building the core team a little bit. That's what my goal for 2024 is, like building the core team a little stronger. And then we want to acquire stuff. So I need someone to actually run that. Right now it's Carolyn, and I don't want her to always do that. I want to get her out of that position. 2024. I want to get her out of the running our what is that? The stuff that we own.
Management.
Yeah.
One thing that Don and I learned, we went to a mastermind in September. And one thing that we learned was the idea of having each one of your team members provide what their individual goals are, right? Because the business has a goal, right? The role has a goal. And then I don't think a lot of people take into account as business owners what that individual's goal is or what the goals are, right? And so, if someone wants to join our team and they say, I want to make $2,000 a month or $12,000 a month, there's a huge difference between those two, right? And so what we learned is that, okay, well, let's identify what Don wants to make on a monthly basis, and let's try to reverse engineer that so that we can properly set expectations, both individually and for the role, right? If my expectations for Don in that case to make $5,000 a month or 25 calls a day, but this person wants to make 10,000, we'll make 50 calls a day, right? And kind of hold them to their own bar that they set. And it's kind of a cool little management tool to say, hey, this is where I want you to be. However, this is what you said you really want to do and you're not doing it, right? And so in that case, they're really only letting themselves down, not the business or the role, but themselves. And so I found that really, really interesting. And we've been trying to implement that with our team a little bit.
And what's really cool about that is that you already have like an expectation when you look at a role, right? Like what you expect them to bring in. But if you don't say that out loud, right? You put it in their court to decide how much money they want to make, then you show them relative to what they want to make, this is what they have to bring in, right? Which that money in is always going to be more coming from them than it is from us.
Right.
That expectation, because they have to make X amount of money that they want to make versus what they need to do. And I was like, why didn't I just put that together before? And if you reverse engineer it based on what they want, you can get down to this is how many calls you need to make, so many emails you need to send, so many leads you need to have so that you can get to that number.
That is so dope.
That. So
dope.
It was really a big eye opener. I was like, yeah, we should just stop making it about us and make it about them. And because when we do that, they tend to go at least 1.5, 2 times more than what we were even expecting.
Yeah. That's so cool. And that can just be like on their profile within your CRM, like this person notes.
Yep. Yeah. Like when you're talking about KPIs, that's what you need to be tracking as a business, but really individually, how many emails did they send? How many calls did they make? How many contracts or yeses did they get? And then how many pushes to close did they get, right? Like tracking whichever KPIs those are, and doing it almost daily.
Yep.
Every single day, and then having a running sheet every week, and then seeing where the percentages are. for all of that.
And it also puts the manager and the employee on the same side, right? It's like, look, in the first interview, not even the first interview, but it's when they join the team. Hey, what's your goal? What do you want to make? Okay, well, if you want to do this, here's what you have to do. Can I hold you to this? And you're going to get that yes, right? Hold me to this. Okay, great. I'm going to do that. So on a monthly or weekly basis, did you meet your goals this week?
Right.
And it's also would help, like, if Jade and Alan are the ones that are both watching that, it's going to give them a true idea of the work that's being put in by those individuals, right? Like, if you see someone that's putting out all the emails they need to, or all of those touch points or calls they need to make, but nothing's coming of it, that's a teachable moment. Like, oh, they're struggling here. Let's go figure out why.
Yeah.
Or if you have someone that's doing less but bringing in more, it's like, we need to figure out what they're doing.
Right.
How that's possible. Like, let's collaborate. So it's giving everyone on the team a clear picture of what you can be doing to help each other, right? And what the health is of the business day to day.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is super awesome.
I could see, like, your mind's just going right now.
I just love it, because it's like, okay, it's basically how I imagine me talking about it is like, you need to make, a lot of people say $5,000 a month. That's just like a common goal. $5,000 a month. This is exactly the blueprint. This is the blueprint. Make these calls. Exactly this many every week. This will happen. And it's no fault but yours if it doesn't happen. If you don't make these emails and field the incoming calls and emails, this will not happen. And it's like just making blueprints. And it's like, that's what I like to do, is make blueprints, like a system for someone to do the thing that they need to do.
Yep.
I feel like, Myron, you would geek out on this mastermind that we went to.
He would.
It was so the reason we went to this one was because it was business focused, right? How to build a business, how to scale, how to build the business of it.
I love it.
Not generate leads, but the business. And it was so mind-blowingly interesting. And it's little tidbits like that you walk away with, that you're like, why didn't I think of that? That seems so simple. But yeah, that was a great 2-day program.
I love it. Let me send it to me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Text you right now. You've already heard of it, but I'll send it to you anyway.
Okay. All right. What else?
I don't know, Mike. What are some of the things that you're going to implement, or that we're going to implement together, at least from acquisition standpoint?
I think this is kind of probably a bigger question that we probably don't have time to get into, but I think that what we struggle with a little bit is the idea of part-time people. And I think it'd be great to have full-time dedicated employees, right? Not, JV partners, but employees, to really build a business, right? To say, look, you're going to show up at 8, you're going to leave at 5. This is what you're going to do. Right. And so I think in a perfect world, what we've tried to figure out is, do we bring on part-time people? Do we bring on full-time people? How do we manage the part-time people to the point where they're actually getting the work done that we need to get done? And also allocate those resources accordingly if they're only working 4 hours a day, for example. So, I don't know. It sounds to me like what you're doing, Myron, is it's all kind of, people are probably more part-time on average, right? They have a W-2 and they're just trying to kind of get things moving along.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. And you found some success in that. Have you found any issues potentially with that structure? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, like Jade is an agent, and an agent isn't a W-2. I don't think it's you go get commission, and you have to work leads, right? So she's an agent, and she has to kind of, I think there's some kind of quota, I don't know, but she has to get houses listed. And then Alan is a chicken farmer. He actually runs a chicken farm. He has 30,000 chickens. So 30,000 chickens lay 30,000 eggs a day, right? So he has this whole farm that filters in the eggs, and that's what he does. He sells the eggs, and at the end of the season, he sells the chickens, and that's what we eat for Campbell's soup. And so, and he has three kids, I believe, and Savannah has kids. She's here. Alex Penaloza is a full-time. He works at a what's it called? He works at a plant.
Oh, Tyson.
Yep. And then let's see. Anyway, so everybody has something going on, right? And then I'm like, okay, how efficiencies, right? How can we make this system just so dumb and so efficient? Oh, Jade says, say thank you to Alan for Chick-fil-A.
Definitely thank him for Chick-fil-A.
It seems like I'm only hungry for Chick-fil-A on Sundays. It drives me crazy.
Talk about marketing. Like, man, create that scarcity right there of like, oh, it's not available. I have to go get it.
So there are times where, I'll look at their sheet and see what offers went out. And, if they're not able to make their offers or send out their messages, what's going on? I need to have a conversation like right now. Let's get everybody on a phone call. What's going on? I don't want excuses. Just like, tell me what's going on. Is there a struggle? Do you not want to do it? Whatever. And then go from there. The time, how can I say this? The time needed to send out your offers on Monday is so small. There should be no excuse. The time is really in the follow-up. The time is really in like answering that phone call or getting back to the agent. That's where the time comes in.
Yeah, because the tool sends out the LOIs or generates it, and you just send it out. It's a button. So to not send out your 100 offers seems like there's something going on there. It should be as simple as just setting it up and automating that.
Yep. So if they're not making their offers, that's a big red flag for me. And then now like the next thing is like, are we closing deals? Yes or no? Because if we're not closing deals, we're not making money. So if we're not closing deals, what's going on there? Are we not aggressive? Or not aggressive, but like, are we not pushing hard enough? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are we just not answering the phone? That stuff happens. So I'm okay with part-time people because we're not grinding out phone calls. It's more like coming in and we just pick that low-hanging fruit. That's the low-hanging fruit. And then the thing that's a little bit higher, the higher branches are the follow-up.
Yeah.
And so what we do on the mail meteor thing is set up 6 follow-ups through email.
Post response, or is this if they don't respond?
It depends. So you can set it up either way, but I think Jade just says if they don't respond. Yeah, if they don't respond, it stops. If they respond, it stops. Yeah.
Right. Got it. How many touches would you say that your callers or lead generators are having before it gets passed up to Jade?
It's hard for me to answer that. Maybe Jade can answer that. Jade, what do you think? How many touches before you get it? I'm gonna guess 3, but it could be less. Right? It could be like 1 or 2. I think it depends on that person. So
Yeah.
Savannah, I think has a little bit stronger knowledge than some of the other people on our team. But
does it also depend on, is it on the latter half of the listing, the middle, the beginning of the listing? Do you guys ever see a trend with those at all?
No. Well, not that I know. I don't know. I don't know that one. We get leads at 100 days. We get leads at 12 days on market. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
What would you say? Because I think that now, and I've said this before in the past couple of weeks, but it feels like Don and I have also created a little bit of a problem with regard to how many people are actually contacting agents for low equity deals, right? Because we're training a lot of people to do it. So we'll take some responsibility for that.
Sorry.
But, as you've probably seen, Myron, anytime you talk to an agent now, if the listing's been on market for 20 days, they've been called 100 times, right?
Or 70 offers, like Myron said. Like
Or
it's got
70 offers.
yeah.
And that's Myron's fault. Quite frankly, he's creating an offer generator. So
We're both at fault here.
yeah.
We hitting both sides, email and phone calls.
So Myron, what would you say separates you guys from the other 69 offers, for example?
yeah. I've trained Jade and Alan to really land on title companies. Here are the title companies that we use. Here's her phone number and call them. Right. I personally have a hard time with beating out offers. I don't like doing it. I like saying, this is my offer. And if I can squeeze some more, it may be, I can, like say, if I can squeeze some more, I will. But if I go up, I'm like, go up by $100 or $500, not $5,000. Right. And so we do scorch the earth, and I don't say anybody's name. If it's you all, I would not. Right. But or if I know that person, I would not. I would say, hey, they're a great team. They're a great
Yeah.
people. But a lot of those other people, so we're dealing with one right now. I can't remember where it is, but they had Google reviews. I don't have Google reviews. I never heard of trying to get Google reviews. This other company has Google reviews, and they have good Google reviews. I'm like, okay, I'll go make some real quick. Will that get us the deal? Right. And so we do scorch the earth, and we say, we have HUDs.
Yeah.
And we have title companies, and here's our portfolio. And so our website has what we own on there, and not the addresses, but like a picture and what it is, where it is. And, something else I'm going to build out is lending on the website, right? Because I feel like if you go to my website and you see properties that we own, FAQ, we're lenders, it kind of like puts some puzzle pieces together, right? And but so Jade is gonna, why would we go with you versus this other offer who's higher? Hey, I don't think I can come up on the money part, but here's the title company we work with. I have sellers that will call agents for me. I have other agents that will call agents for us. So if you're asking me how, will I just go crazy offers? I will not. I hate, they'll give you $750 a month on the equity. No. No.
It's funny because we're selling a deal that we own right now, and we put it on market, and we've gotten some sub 2 offers from sub 2 members, or we've gotten phone calls about those offers. And it's really interesting to kind of hear what they say. I think sometimes you can probably hear maybe a little bit of an experience from them in terms of their offers, but also from just the phone call itself. And I think what we run into a lot is that I think that there are very few people who are contacting an agent pitching sub 2 who have actually done a sub 2 deal. And so I think that for those who are experienced and who also have sub 2 pace training, I think we're going to sound different, right? And I think that hopefully can be communicated over the phone, whether it's verbally or through email or a website like you guys do. And, I think if you can show proof of getting these deals done and moving them to the finish line through a title company or HUDs or whatever, I think it's great. I think it's really smart.
So is that what you all do as well?
Yeah, we have a website that shows deals that we've done recently or some deals that we've done, just to kind of show them. We do lean on past experience. We do communicate that we're doing these very consistently, and we have not referred people to title companies. Actually, I think that we have just a couple times, but not as a consistent
Yeah.
SOP.
Well, I think that's in part because our deals have been spread all over the place.
Mhm.
So, you know, we don't quite have that same relationship with all of the title companies that we've used because we've done one-offs with them, right? For
Right.
one deal or two deals.
We do in Texas, but not
Yeah.
places like Alabama or whatever.
North Carolina, South Carolina. Probably wouldn't even use South Carolina, to be honest.
Not again.
No.
No, but I think that it's interesting to kind of hear how people who are actually doing the business, the sub two side of the business, direct agent, how they're separating themselves from others. And we're doing ours just through trying to communicate experience, trying to sound a little bit different on the phone. It's easy for people who have not done a deal to kind of word vomit out all the benefits of sub two, right? And like Pace says, it's the sniper approach. Pick one thing and attack that, and then move on to the next if you have to. But yeah, that's basically how we're doing it.
Got it.
Nothing special, just one avenue.
Yeah, it's good. We I set aside Wednesdays. I didn't have any calls today, but I set aside Wednesdays for new students. Like,
Mhm.
hey, jump on my Calendly. And they're like, I just need to like just kind of figure out what I'm gonna do. Like I need to like an avatar question, basically.
Yeah.
And it's almost every single time. It's like, tell me what you're doing. Well, I'm doing foreclosures. I'm pulling lists for tax liens and water shut off and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, what is the one, like just one list that you really like? Oh, I like foreclosures. Okay. That's what you're going to do from now on. You have no other choice. You cannot do it. And like, pick one market. What one market can you go door knock or just pick in one market? Okay. Dallas, you're not allowed to do anything else. You're
Mhm.
not allowed. So I have an analogy. I don't even know if it makes sense, but if you have a laser can burn through a mountain, right? But if you just like pick like a floodlight or a lighthouse just kind of shines, right? It's more of a beacon, right? And you're not really gonna burn. You're not gonna be so pinpointed. And so if you take all your light and shine it in one spot, you're gonna get traction. I don't know if that analogy makes sense, but I found it to be super true. Like just pick one thing and like take a cup, fill it all the way up, and then it starts to spill over. Then you can go do more, right? That analogy, that sounds better.
I think part of the problem though is that people they stop pouring the water in the cup when it's halfway full. And they don't stay with it for more than a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever it is. But you need to get to that point, whatever, 6 weeks, 2 months, where it does start to overflow, and it does that snowball effect and you start to get deals. And, that's why I think that's largely why people fail, is because they see something that they think is going to be more profitable over here. They run over there, they lose momentum over here.
Or they hear about people getting their first deal done in 2 days, 2 weeks, a month, right? I'm like, here's to your analogy or to your story even. People aren't willing to put in the effort it takes to be unsuccessful for a year. Like in their mind, they're like, oh, I'm going to get this done in a short amount of time. But the mentality you should have is, I'm going to push as hard as it takes me if it takes me a year to get a deal. Because that drive is different. That longevity is different. And if you can weather that storm for a year, for 2 years without getting a deal, you're going to be so much stronger and more efficient afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen so many people that just like you said, they'll pour in halfway or they'll be just at the top and it's about to just spill over and they stop. And I'm like, why did you do that? Well, it wasn't working. I'm like, do you realize how close you were to getting that done? Right. So I think people have a short-term memory loss when it comes to trying to get through issues or trying to get to their first deal or trying to make something happen. You have to have that longevity mindset, being willing to not get paid for a year doing this business, 2 years.
You just reminded me of this guy that we work with, Mario. Mario, I think it's been a year. And this dude he's a pilot in Puerto Rico. And he would go to work and he'd go there early. He'd go to the airport and sit in whatever the lounge is and make calls. And now he's sending emails. And I think it took 8-9 months to get one deal. And it was every single day making calls, like 7 days a week. He was making calls, and he has 3 kids in college, and I think he has 2 grandkids, I think, in Puerto Rico, and full-time job. And I think we're just now getting his 3rd deal. We just got his 3rd deal assigned just now.
That's awesome.
And thankfully, Carolyn went to Puerto Rico for the Vina thing or whatever it was, and met him. He showed up, which was super cool. But you just reminded me, like, that guy. I've never had someone more consistent. Now, he struggled with like what to say, how to say it, but like showing up every day. I've never had anybody that strong. Still. The dude is like clockwork. It's amazing. And I'm like, I don't know, shit. The second deal we're having to cancel, this one in Houston, just kind of doesn't work. And he's just really upset. But he got the Katy deal, and it got signed the same day. And so he's super pumped, and he's looking for more deals in Katy right now. But
I think the videos, or I think that the posts of, hey, I joined Sub 2 days ago and I already bought 19 deals, that's an exaggeration, but those things have to go. Those should not be allowed. Or the mentors, and I know it's largely marketing, but hey, this deal took me 7 minutes to go from start to finish, right? But what you don't see outside those 7 minutes are all of the hard work that you put into
learn it, to do it in 7 minutes.
To do it. But, I get it. Assign it I get that idea. But let's be realistic with this business. And I think that we've largely been, jaded. Sorry for the pun here. But, the idea of instant millionaires, right? And, this stuff does take work, but anything good does. And, it hurts the heart a little bit, right? If it took me 2 years to get my first creative deal, that hurt. I wanted to get one so badly, but I knew that what I was doing wasn't what would lead me to a deal faster. And so it really fell on me. But I think that we just have to be realistic with a lot of our expectations and what's next, right? What's the first step we have to take to get to that point? And to your point, Myron, just consistency. Keep doing that one thing. And you'll get it.
You will, but you have to be willing to do it for a year. If you're not willing to do it for a year, you need to reset your priorities.
Yep.
You need to reset your mindset there.
Or maybe you're in the wrong role.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Cool.
This is awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on, Myron.
Yeah. We went 2.5 hours.
I know.
Dope.
It was fun.
We should pick a topic and do it again.
Yeah, that'd be cool. This one was, I think, we only had maybe like 15 or so viewers, but this kind of stuff, I think, really helps people because a lot of people are in our shoes. and they're trying to like get better at running a business, or, you know, find a one thing that provides so much more value to their business. You know what I mean? So this is super dope.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good to talk to you, Myron.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see. We got Dawn Walker's Instagram right there. Go follow her. DWalkerTX12. What's a 12?
That was my number in high school for soccer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's her soccer Instagram. And then Mike Jackson. Is it Mike Jackson Revitalized?
Mike Jackson sub 2.
Mike Jackson sub 2. I think I have 9 Instagram profiles because I kept changing them.
Okay.
So it's Mike Jackson sub 2.
Mike Jackson sub 2.
Yep.
So go follow them on Instagram, and thank you all for jumping on our YouTube for a little while. And feel free to reach out to these two. They are, as you can tell, they're killers, and 2024 is gonna rock people's world. Right at the end of 2024, we're gonna have much different Zoom or much different YouTube.
Different problems.
Yeah.
Different problems. And y'all make sure you reach out to Myron. He is a true go-giver, and he's got some amazing tools that can help you in your business. So if you're struggling with that, make sure you reach out to him. He's amazing.
Go to myronmethod.com, and that's where you can get all the little tools that we have. And then Take Over Your Markets with an S. TakeOverYourMarkets.com is our market takeover tool. All right, y'all. Thank you.
Thanks, Myron.
All right. Thank you, Myron.
Bye-bye.
Bye.